Welcome back to MMA Al Dente. I am the guy who picked Chung Lee to defeat Frank Dukes. And I'm here to talk about Aljamain Sterling moving up to featherweight to take on Calvin Kattar. And this is another awesome fight that could easily headline a fight night event right now. Uh, you got a lot of different wrinkles to this one. Calvin Kattar coming off the leg injury against Arnold Allen, a long layoff, and Aljamain Sterling, of course, dropping his bantamweight title in his last fight, and now moving up in weight finally, which I think could be a good move for him because I know it was hell for him to cut the bantamweight, and also theoretically it could help his chin too, which is responsible for two of his four losses. Aljo. He was knocked out by Marlon Moraes and knocked out by Sean O'Malley in his last fight, or TKO'd anyway. But my pick for this fight, because I know you want it, I'm going with Calvin Kattar. I think Calvin Kattar is going to win this fight just by being able to duplicate the success of Sean O'Malley pretty much, but being a little bit bigger and able to and very quick too, kind of like Sean O'Malley, quicker on the outside and able to play the matador and outstrike Aljo. I expect pressure from Aljo, and I do think Aljo is one of those guys that can control anybody that he can take down. If he takes down Calvin Kattar, it's not going to be the mat returns like Marab. He's going to lock his legs around you like a fucking tarantula and close him tight with a triangle in one way or another and hold you down. But I'm picking Calvin Kattar to be too tough to take down. And Calvin Kattar, if you do get him down, I think he'd probably be a very damn tough guy to submit. He's only been submitted once, and I think it was in 2008 or something like that. Yeah, but it's been a while, is the point. And on the feet, I think he wins the points battle. Certainly against Aljo. I think he's the more sophisticated striker. I think his hands are much better, although they're not as good as Max Holloway's. I don't want him to yell at me and start teeing off on me. But Calvin Kattar is also the more dangerous guy. He's not the most dangerous featherweight in the UFC, but we've seen it on occasion. He's fucking vicious. Knocked out Burgos in round 3, those beautiful uppercuts, smashed Jeremy Stevens. He's definitely the more violent guy on the feet. Aljamain Sterling's now a comfortable striker. He used to be a guy when he first started that was all about fighting at kicking range and just doing this like athletic striking to survive. But then he turned a corner, leveled up. By the time he was fighting Jimmy Rivera, I had a lot of respect for his hands. And he's definitely come a long way where he's comfortable on the feet. But I don't think he could be too comfortable fighting against a guy like Calvin Kattar. I think Aljo's got to take him down to win this fight or pin him against the cage. And I do think Aljo is probably going to be twice as strong as anybody else who would gain 10 pounds. I think his weight will go a long way. And I do think if he does take down even Calvin Kattar or even a fucking heavyweight, he can control him. And I also think Aljamain Sterling's probably going to be a little healthier with his chin as opposed to cutting the weight. But despite me expecting him to be in his best form and all that, I still think Calvin's a difficult matchup for him. I think Calvin's going to be able to keep it on the feet, rough him up on the inside if they are in the clinch, and at range, regardless of the big moments, I think he wins the small moments. So Calvin Kattar is the pick. He is the bet, certainly. He's gotten a little higher now, plus 135 here, 136, whatever the fuck it says behind me. But I certainly think there's value on that. If I had my own odds, they'd be flipped. I'd have Calvin Kattar as a slight favorite. But I see what everybody else sees with Aljo. He's a guy who is a problem for anybody if he's even allowed to fight anything close to resembling his type of fight. So, wouldn't hate it if he won. I'd only be upset because I lost money on it. I have to say all this shit because I live locally. You never know, I might run into these guys. But I am picking Calvin Kattar to win, and I have bet on him. Like, share, subscribe, all that horse shit, and check out my other videos. And let's go Boston, I guess. I don't know.